Welcome back, everyone, to 1 Minute Recess, where we talk about all things Nevada politics and beyond. We are so excited to have you for birthday week. It's my birthday week this week. Next week, we'll be celebrating Maria. So it's a very special time on 1 Minute Recess for the twin birthdays that we have. So let's get right to it. My name's Annette Magnus. We're going to be talking through the bullshit tonight. So Maria, you want to take it away?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. This week, happy birthday to future me, is another wild week in this year of 2025. We'll start with the rundown before we get any wonderful state updates. We'll go through a couple comments that stood out from last episode, and Annette hasn't seen them, but I want to get especially one of them, her reaction, since it's something she talked at length about in the last episode. If for those that didn't watch or forgot, there's toxic green ponds in Las Vegas, thanks to Elon Musk and his Boring Company. And as Annette mentioned, it's been a long-standing issue for a long time. Retro Game Tech 1626. I don't know if that's a burner account from Elon or someone at the Boring Company, but
Or
they
Russia.
say
Go ahead.
Russia. Yeah, commented, I'm glad we're getting this explanation, Annette. It's not toxic. It's water they use for the cutting bit on the machine they're boring through. He's misspelled there, so run your stuff through spell check. They're boring through the rock. Hang on, that mistake
I am aware
lost
of
me.
how
It's not
boring
toxic.
works. Thank you.
Well, Retro Game Tech does say that it's the water that they use for the cutting bit on the machine they're boring through the rock with. He can't spell. With it's just water mixed in with dirt and rock debris. Annette, it's just water that they use for the machine. Doesn't say what machine it is, but, it's cutting through the rock. That's what it does. And it's just water mixed in with the rock debris. That's all. Nothing to worry
And
about.
I am aware of how boring the act of boring works. And if it were simply debris and rock and mud, typically that tends to be brown.
Yeah, like if you've been a kid and you've played with mud, like if you've played with dirt and
Or
mud.
you've seen a flash flood in Las Vegas at any point in your life. You've
Yeah.
seen Charleston flood. Typically that's brown, not toxic green. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's not alphabet color.
Sure, bro. Whatever you want.
Sure.
Whatever makes you sleep better at night.
Retro Game Tech 1626.
And that's why Governor Lombardo deleted all the files, got rid of all the evidence, got rid of the receipts, proof, timeline, and screenshots.
Because it's just rocks. It's nothing we need to worry about.
Just mud.
Yeah.
MBD. Don't worry about it. You stupid girls. What are you talking about?
Shut up, Annette.
Dummies. Just rocks.
It's just rocks. Everything's fine. There's no reason for them to lie.
Why worry?
Jesus.
I trust the government. I trust Elon Musk.
This comment reminds me of someone saying, now all the children that were left behind by George W. Bush are adults, and that's what's happening to America. Now we're seeing what happens when all the children...
Yeah, none of them can read, think logically. Our critical thinking skills have gone out the window. We haven't been taught to question everything. It's fine. It's just some mud. Maria, don't worry about it. Why are you worrying your pretty little head about that? Don't you trust Elon?
Implicitly.
Yeah.
He's never done anything wrong. It's not like
him and RFK. Yeah. When I think of
Smart
men
people.
I can trust, him, Donald Trump, RFK, Epstein, they're all on the same list, essentially, for me.
Yeah. I mean, just
ones I
look
can
at them.
trust.
They're like models of vitality and intelligence. All of them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Know how to treat people, know how to treat women, Because his family does such ethical mining in South Africa.
Yeah, well, and
what other
and
comments
incest.
do we have? Hopefully that are not making me want to be violent. Go ahead.
So the other one is from Aunt Tifa. Aunt Tifa, get it? This person actually knows the English language and is playing with it,
Smart.
and I love it.
I like your play on words. Cool.
Aunt Tifa.
I can't wait for you to join us on the terrorist watch list.
With their little I voted sticker on their profile. Thank you for voting, wherever you are, Aunt Tifa. Says, you did a great job here. And apparently, I think they watched the whole episode. You did a great job here. and I don't understand why you have more views.
Friends and family, share our podcast widely. We ain't got a big budget for this. We just share our opinions about things. So share the podcast widely, friends.
Yeah, here's our budget. We do it because we know stuff and want to share it. But yeah, that's how
Every week.
yeah, every week. So that's from last week's episode, and I thought we should kick it off with knowing what really is in those green ponds, according to.
Well,
a very
thank
smart
God.
person.
Thank God it's just mud. I have nothing to worry
Nothing to worry
about. Elon Musk has Las Vegas's best interest at heart, of course. Thank God.
Yeah, creating something we don't need.
Okay.
A dumb tunnel.
Also, if anybody hears any weird noises off to the side, that is not me snorting, farting, doing any kind of weird noise. My dog is next to me chewing on something and she makes weird noises. So, from Wednesday to all of you, I apologize. I'm
not a
single
creature from the
parenting
green
again
pond.
today. No, well, she might be. She was found on Charleston feral, so who knows?
Oh, maybe. If only she could talk.
All right, let's get into the rundown. We got a good one for you, everyone. So can't wait to talk about this one. I knew you
Yeah,
were going to put this on the agenda.
So there's a few people, and since you were up in Carson City, you have gone to Carson City for many times. You can explain to us, and we'll put the link in
The
the
fucking
description.
law? The law? You want me to explain the law?
The law, yes, exactly. And this is about a few people whose names are Sandoval, Aguero, and Velardita. Can't say that name with a straight face. Won't face sanctions for failing to register as lobbyists. And as I said, we'll put this link in the description and the chat. What does that mean, Annette? Why aren't they gonna get sanctions? And let's start there. Why aren't they getting sanctions? Is this about for all the people that don't like to read, don't want to read, don't have time to read? Explain to us. Is this about last special session? What does this mean?
So, this has been an ongoing problem with one of these people. Jeremy Aguero is some sort of, he calls himself an economist. I don't think he's not. He doesn't have the proper credentials for that, but whatever. He has been the person. Yeah, snake oil salesman is better. He has been the salesman of many a thing that Maria and I have opposed, including the A Stadium, Allegiant Stadium, and now the film tax credits. He has kind of a unique niche in the market in Nevada because there's really no one else who can crunch numbers and do the things that he does. So there's a lot of entities that actually pay for his services. His services are sought out because he's kind of one of a kind. And in a state like Nevada, where it's incredibly small, we're all kind of connected somehow, right? And each one of us kind of has a unique role to play in the political ecosystem because it's so small here. There's not a lot of these types of people with this types of skill sets to go around. So Aguero and his firm were brought on by all of these different corporations to essentially sell and make the numbers work for their things, their items. So for a long time, there have been questions to the Legislative Council Bureau. They're the kind of overseeing body of the legislature as to who does and does not need to register as a lobbyist. Because as somebody who is paid to lobby, I must register as a lobbyist. I also have to detail things like candidates that I have worked for, people that I work alongside that may be elected officials. There's all kinds of things I need to disclose by law because of ethics rules. I also cannot buy a legislator a cup of coffee. So any of you who say, oh, you're out here making deals with legislators and buying them off, typically that actually doesn't happen because of the financial rules. Now there's ways to skirt around that stuff, but for the most part, Nevada actually has some pretty strict lobbying rules when it comes to lobbyists. So every session and every special session, we are supposed to register for the people we are lobbying for. In the interim, so after we get done with the legislative session, there is also an end of session report essentially that we fill out that says, yes, we will continue to lobby in the interim, so in the between sessions, or no, we will not. So my report, of course, said, yes, I will, because I still have clients in the interim who I am lobbying for. Moms Rising, various other folks. So when we got to special session, and the rules have changed various times during special sessions. There have been specials that I've had to re-register for. There's been specials that I just used my old badge. It's changed over the years, but it is incumbent upon us as lobbyists to know the rules, to know Nevada law, and to make sure we're following that law. Even volunteers, so like non-paid lobbyists, like our friend Matthew Wilkie, who go up there and just lobby on their own behalf, there is a badge for that, and they even pay for that. So this past special session that happened in November, we were required to re-register as a lobbyist. I got a new badge. I got a new registration on the Nevada Legislative website. I was asked to follow the rules of that. I had to disclose any of the candidates or legislators that I was working for because we are now smack dab in the middle of election season. So I've been brought on by some of these folks to consult on their communications work and things like that. So I go, I register, I do the whole thing, I get my little badge, whatever. During regular session, there's also an ethics training that you have to go through so that lobbyists know the rules and the ethics that they must follow. So the whole thing, it's a whole thing. And then you have to fill out monthly reports and all of that. So I, along with many of my colleagues, do all these things, follow the rules. But there are 3 gentlemen who did not. Former Governor Brian Sandoval, Jeremy Aguero, who we talked about before I went into my spiel about the lobbyists, and John Valadita, who is in charge of the CCEA, the Clark County Education Association. All 3 were lobbying on the film tax credit. All 3 were in the building at the Nevada legislature. I happened to fly up in the Southwest Plane line with JB, John Valadita, literally standing right in front of me. Maria, you know this because I told you, because the smell of sulfur was strong.
In the Carson City bus.
Sandoval. Yeah. Brian Sandoval was in there lobbying for UNR because he was trying to move people on the film tax credits because Reno had been given or told that they were going to get something out of this. And then Aguero was doing his usual stuff. Now, at some point, Aguero did register, I was told, but now it's questionable based on this article. This has been an ongoing problem where certain people, feel like they don't have to follow the same rules that the rest of us do. And now so I've been told it's a felony if you don't register properly and on time and then fill out your proper reports and all of those things. I've always managed to follow the rules. It was a $50 fee, $50 fee for me to register as a lobbyist for special session. During regular session, it's $300. For us who are lobbyists, this is built into our clientele. We all know the rules. We follow the rules. So my question is, why should any of us follow the rules if these 3 don't have to follow the rules? Why are they getting a special pass when the rest of us do not? And so that is my question. And I will send this, and we can put this up. There is a link on the Nevada Legislative website. And it outlines who should register. It literally says who should register as a lobbyist. And the explanation given on the Nevada Legislative website says every person who acts as a lobbyist during regular or special session shall, not later than 2 days after the beginning of that activity, file a registration statement with the director of the Legislative Counsel Bureau. Shall, as in must.
And that's so I've been in various sessions where especially words like shall, may, should, can, it usually doesn't go all the way to can, but
Must.
it's like shall, must,
Yeah.
may. Because clearly, Tech Dude who commented showed us that not many people know words. What does shall mean?
That means you're gonna do it. It's a must. It's not a wiggle room kind of thing. You shall do this.
Yeah.
So you step in the building and you've got 2 days to do it.
Yeah.
Now,
if it was a maybe,
problems with
may or should.
Yeah. And if you go in the building, so this past session, the special session, there was a problem with the computer system, right? There were some kinks that they were trying to work out for the special session. So Miss Marge, who is a gem of a human being, who runs the lobbyist portal and everything, I went in the first day to register. I left Friday, Saturday, could not register online. I came back to Vegas. I did no lobbying Friday and Saturday. Sunday, I came back at like 5 in the morning. The first thing I did when I walked in the building was go to Miss Marge and be like, "Hi, friend, I cannot register online. It is not letting me do this. The portal's acting up. Let me register right now because I lobbied on Thursday and I want to make sure I'm following the rules." There's wiggle room. They will give you grace. They will work with you. They know like human things happen, right? So I sat down at Miss Marge's desk, paid my $50, and she got me through the process. Come to find out, there was a problem with the portal on the back end of my account. No big deal. She fixed it for me. I got it all done. I got registered. I had my badge by like noon that day. We were good to go. I don't understand how these three, because we both know JV lobbies. I mean, that's what his whole organization does. It's a union.
Literally.
Brian Sandoval is representing the university. That's his whole job as the president of the university, is to lobby. And we have argued for years, since this all started in 2016, and other lobbyists have argued this, that Jeremy Aguero needs to register as a lobbyist because even though he's being hired to give data, he is lobbying on behalf of a client. He is advocating on behalf of a client. And there's all these semantics. Well, does he go into meetings? Yes, he does.
He does.
I know for a fact he was going into meetings privately with legislators to tell them why to vote for this bill.
Whenever I have seen him present at a hearing, it's never been impartial. It's always been during the bill presentation and in a way that is not, like, usually LCB, for example, or other experts will come on, even if it's part of the bill presentation. And I think especially when it's part of the bill presentation to show figures, they will say, we cannot advocate for anything. We are just here to give this explanation or these numbers. Jeremy Aguero
100%.
has always talked about how amazing this is going to be. And here are the numbers to prove it. He's never done it in an impartial way.
He's being paid by a group to advocate on behalf of that thing, of a stadium, of a film tax credit, and manipulate and work on the numbers to prove why this is a good thing for the state of Nevada. No, that's lobbying. That is what I do. I go into a legislative office and try and convince legislators why this bill is a good thing for the state of Nevada and why they should pass it. Jeremy is doing the same exact thing that I do and being paid to do it. There's no difference in what I do versus what JV does versus what Jeremy Aguero does versus what Brian Sandoval in this case was doing. All of us do the exact same thing. Therefore, the rules should be the same. But we all know money in politics, various other things. We look at who these people are. Of course, there's going to be no accountability. All these legislators want CCA's endorsement here coming up. Of course, there's not going to be no accountability for Jeremy. There never has been. They had a whole ass ruling that he didn't have to follow the same rules as we did somehow. They came up, they twisted themselves into knots to figure out how Jeremy didn't have to fill all the rules while the rest of us did. And now they're doing the same thing for Brian Sandoval. Of course.
It's ridiculous.
When special interest comes a calling, they ain't got to follow the same rules that the rest of us peasants have to follow. And my friend Carrie, who is a fellow lobbyist, actually questioned Kevin Powers on this during one of our ethics trainings. Because the question is, and I stand by her when she says this, and I believe this to be true. It is bullshit that there is one set of rules for one set of us and the public, and there is a different set of rules for special interests and these people. And I have a problem with it. And so do a lot of people. So we call them out. They still don't listen, but we call them out. I'm really glad the Current did this article because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's clear as day. I'm going to put this in the chat for everybody. Take a look. It is clear as day, friends, what the rules are and what you're supposed to do to follow the rules. Like I said, even volunteers, we used to be so strict at our former job about even volunteers, non-paid grassroots activists following the same rules. It is clear as day on this website what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to do it, and what the rules are.
The first time I ever had to do that, it was clear as day to me. So I can't imagine how a former governor, a quote-unquote economist, and a
Mary
union
Dungan
leader
does it every freaking session. Mary Dungan, our volunteer. She follows the rules. our volunteers would follow the rules. These are people who are not paid to do this, but are doing this because they're Nevadans who just care.
Yeah.
I know.
That's, yeah, Wednesday agrees.
Anyway,
That's
it's irritating.
the Nevada way.
The Nevada way. So we'll see if they ever have to follow the same rules, but I doubt it. I mean, I'm over being outraged by it because it never changes.
Yeah, when pigs
All
fly,
right.
they will. Anything else going on in the world of Bill Watch?
Yeah, so hopefully things chill out for the holidays. That's what I'm looking forward to. The Nevada political climate chilling out for the holidays. Because as soon as we come back from the holidays, everybody's going to start gearing up for elections. Signs are already going up. The most ridiculous thing in the world. Signs are going up before Christmas. I'm like, y'all need to calm down. Nobody wants to see that
Yeah.
shit before Christmas.
A whole almost a year before people can do anything.
I mean, if you're in a primary, 6 months, but still, nobody wants to see all that garbage before Christmas.
Yeah.
Ugh, just the thought of it makes me want to barf.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go down to the. Let's go down.
Let's go down.
Let's go to the local lowdown, or as we like to call it, the local lockdown.
Yeah.
Trump style.
Oh boy.
This next headline, and I'm really glad you put this in here because it also flows with the context of another issue I really wanted to talk about today. Costco. Holiday shoppers facing rising toy prices as tariffs impact local Las Vegas stores. But we're going to add in, Costco is protecting your freedoms, America, because they are suing Donald Trump because of the tariffs. So if you haven't gone to Costco this week to thank Costco for their bravery, go spend some money there. I did. I went and bought new Birks there, got my Disney tickets for the year. I spent a lot of money because I was like, you know what, Costco, you earned it. You earned me spending my money here.
Yep.
So let's talk about Donald Trump being the Grinch that's stealing Christmas from everyone. The holiday shoppers facing rising toy prices. So it's affecting small businesses. It's affecting big businesses. Tariffs are out of control. If you haven't gone grocery shopping in a while, prices are just out of control right now for food, but also for clothing, toys. Anything you get from another country is going to cost you more. So Maria, you want to talk this over?
Trump. Trump just said this morning, if people didn't tune in to his usual BS gaggle in the White House, everything is down. I think he did a Freudian slip and he said Christmas is down.
Including his mental capacity.
Yeah, but he said groceries are down, and I don't know if he meant shopping, because that's certainly down in this economy, probably. But he tried to say the prices aren't down, that people are crazy and this isn't actually happening. But yeah, like Annette said, if you've actually gone grocery shopping, ordered groceries from somewhere, ordered anything online, because we really don't make much here. And
no.
That's just the economic model that we have. Everything has gone up. Everything. Because of tariffs. And so, yeah, he is stealing. He is the Grinch that stole Christmas, because now it's going to affect you trying to get toys for or gifts for your family. And it's really sad, because I remember him saying, I don't know if he said Thanksgiving or Christmas. Last year he said next Thanksgiving, the holidays are going to be great next year. You're just going to love it. Everything's going to be so much better. And here we are, that toy stores are suffering. Toy stores.
He said it last week. Basically, he said, well, this is behind a paywall, so hang on a second. So affordability was a scam, and that now he's calling it a con job. That's what it was. So he can't, keep in mind, he campaigned on affordability, on the cost of groceries being out of control. If Kamala Harris is elected, prices are going to skyrocket. Things are going to be crazy expensive. He campaigned on groceries and gas. And all of these MAGA buffoons bought his bullshit. We're like, oh my God, he's going to lower prices of everything. Friends, have you been to the grocery store lately? Because it's like double.
Mm-hmm.
And so last week, he was on camera saying the word affordability is a scam by the Democrats. Everything I'm doing is more affordable. And we're like, what? Come the fuck again? No, it's not. I mean, yeah. Democrat scam and con job. But nearly 3/4 of voters, his voters, think cost of living is bad or worse than ever. But it's a con job. The only con job is Donald Trump.
Is you. Yeah, it's
Literally.
you, Donald.
He is
You were projecting as you said that.
Ugh.
Piece of shit. But
It's like,
you want the most Vegas headline to go with how bad the economy is?
people got to do what people got to do. Let's get into it. Vegas is going to do what Vegas has got to do.
Hospitality slowdown pushes Las Vegas workers toward unexpected new jobs, including exotic dancing.
Good
Gotta do
for
what you
you.
gotta do.
Get that
Good
cash,
for you. That's
people.
right.
Get
That's
that
right. In
cash,
this
girl.
economy, get it.
Do what you got to
Absolutely.
do. Get
Start
it.
because you know
We
what
are
you
pro
know what
sex work here.
yeah. And you know what you get in that industry? Cash. Money you can stash
Cash money.
for yourself
Cold, hard cash.
in your
Good for you.
hands. Yeah.
If I
So
wasn't so chunky, I'd be out there on the pole. There ain't no shame
there's
in
a
that
market for
game.
everything. But the Crazy
Oldest
Horse
industry in the
3
world.
Crazy Horse 3 has seen a surge in people with no dancing experience walking into audition.
For them. God bless.
Yeah.
I'm so
And so
happy for them.
if anybody that's interested, Crazy Horse 3 does auditions nightly, 7 days a week. So if
You
you're
want to get toys for
interested,
your kids for Christmas? Get
7 days
on
a week,
down.
Crazy Horse 3. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And you know what the
Gotta do what
Crazy
you gotta
Horse
do.
is seeing? A constant flow of business. They are not seeing any kind of slowdown. So, you know what? Go where the economy is.
Well, yeah, there's no tariffs on sex work.
No. With how bad things are, people might spend more time seeking out the joys of exotic dancing. So,
It's an art form. Good for them. Listen, do what you gotta do, girl. Or boy.
yeah.
Or whoever. Get
Oh
that
boy.
money.
Go for it. Yeah.
Get that cash.
Get that cash money. So yeah,
This
thank
is
you, Trump, for the bad economy. But another very Nevada headline is up next.
go on.
BLM, and for people that don't know, that's why it's a very Nevada headline, because it's not Black Lives Matter. It's
Even though
the
we're a big
Bureau of
supporter of
Land.
that too.
Yeah, we're a big supporter, but many people, I know that sometimes I've been like, what's the what? How are they? No, the Bureau
Sorry.
of Land Management.
Pissed.
And we say it's very Nevada because for those that don't know, much of our land is publicly owned. And I don't know if you've seen
87%.
this in it. Yeah. A BLM nominee draws criticism from conservation groups over support for selling public land. And this is one of your favorite things to talk about, Annette. Why does this matter? Oh, and this person's name is Steve Pierce, former New Mexico representative. And he is Trump's nominee to lead the BLM. So it's very important to Nevada. Yeah, why is this a very Nevada thing that we should be worried about?
Well, the person who heads up the Bureau of Land Management oversees 87% of our land. And we don't want somebody who is pro selling off public lands because those lands belong to all of us. Historically, they belong to indigenous peoples. And there was just a special, which we should link to, where even Ryan Zinke, the first head of the Department of Interior under the first Trump administration, who we fought valiantly over overturning national monuments, even he says we should not be selling off our public land. Like the whole sell of our public land is not what we should be doing in the United States of America, because one of our greatest assets in the United States is our public lands. And the whole sale of public lands is not going to help with our national debt. You see, and this is what Zinke says. This is not a net thing, even though I agree with it, strangely enough. He said that selling off our public lands is like, selling off your equity in your home. You have land, and that land is valuable. It has value. And when you sell it off, or when you shrink monuments or, sell land off to the highest bidder, you are losing assets that your country has. And so even he says there's a way to do it that is correct, but these are whole sales of public lands, big swaths of public lands, is not the way we should go about doing it. And they've recently changed the definition of conservation. They've recently changed the way they're doing monuments. There's all kinds of bullshit happening at the Department of Interior. So this is yet another way that the Trump administration is trying to sell off public lands, but also essentially erode the good work that has been done, starting with Teddy Roosevelt all the way until now, to protect our public lands for future generations. And so this asshole, apparently, Pierce, he has roots in oil and gas. So that's why Donald Trump and all his cronies want this guy there, because that's really what selling off our public land is about, is selling it off to the highest bidder so we can develop oil, develop gas, other industries that are extractive. Really, I mean, he lost his so it says in 1980s, Pierce founded an oil field services company in New Mexico, which he later sold off when he won his first election. So this guy is tied to oil and gas, and so that's why Trump wants him there, is because this is all about extractive industries. Douchebags.
Sounds like a con job.
Sounds like Donald Trump's con job again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
And when you're agreeing with Ryan Zinke, there's a point to be made.
I have looped the loop because I have never agreed with Ryan Zinke on anything. But Zinke's from Montana and understands the concept of public lands, even though he was horrible on most things public lands when he was the head of the Department of Interior. He's now back in Montana overseeing things in Montana. And so, his tune sounds like it's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was
Sounds
on
like he
60
doesn't-
Minutes.
60 Minutes? Yeah.
I'll
It
put
sounds
the
like he
link in
doesn't
chat.
want hunters and anglers and recreational people that have usually leaned Republican, but support public lands vehemently. Don't want him calling his name.
Oh, hang on. So this is the video of it. Let me see if I can see his comments, though, because his comments were pretty good. And he's actually one of the ones who joined forces with Congresswoman Titus earlier this year that sought to sell off public land. So Zinke and Dina worked together to fight back against the Trump administration on this bill to sell off public land. So it says, in Montana, the open frontier is valued as an emblem of freedom and possibility. So Montana Rep. Ryan Zinke, who served as Secretary of the Interior during the first Trump administration, rallied others in Congress to kill the proposal. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an American issue, Zinke said. And once you sell land, you're never going to get it back. He's not wrong. So this is from CBS News, but it was on 60 Minutes. I encourage you, if you care about public lands, I watched it the other day. It is truly, honestly incredible, because it is a very different Ryan Zinke than when he was with the Department of Interior. And I honestly think he's learned some shit from his time there and has come around on the issue of public lands, because he knows that Montanans and Western people in Western states, the whole reason we live here is because of our public lands. So to put somebody in the BLM, who oversees much of Montana, much of states like Nevada, who is essentially anti-public lands, is a slap in the face from Teddy Roosevelt on down, because that is not the way we should be managing our public lands in this country. So, yeah, I have a lot of opinions on this issue. So does she.
Yeah. Yeah, Wednesday looks nonplussed by this con job. Oh, hey, Wednesday.
Oh, God. She's like a sack of potatoes. Here she goes.
Speaking of con jobs and terrible things, there's a lot going on outside of Nevada that
Speaking of
happen to
other con jobs,
literally have Trump's name or
No.
presence in every single section.
before we get to any of this, we got to talk about one thing, because I don't see it on here. And while I did, okay, so we're going to go to what the fuck is happening in the world, but it's not on here, but we got to talk about it because, well, there's two things we got to talk about that are not on here related. So the fucking Russians blew a hole in the sarcophagus of Chernobyl like a bunch of idiots. And now the sarcophagus is the thing that covers. So for those of you who don't know, because you're not nerds like me and Maria, Chernobyl is an old radioactive wasteland. Look it up. It was an old nuclear facility that went haywire, had to be covered with like lots of things because it's like radioactive as fuck. Anyways, the Russian hit it. It was real bad. The Russians blew a hole in the top of the sarcophagus that was covering it. And now radioactivity is leaking out of the sarcophagus, everyone, in Ukraine, because Chernobyl is located in Ukraine. but the Russians have been controlling it for a while now, and the Russians blew a hole in it. The other thing is, and this was not widely talked about last week, but something that definitely needs to be discussed before we go into fucking Moscow praising Donald Trump, is there was a drone apparent attempt on Zelensky's life last week where Russian drones tried to attack the plane that Zelensky was flying into Ireland on. Barely a blip on the news that a leader of the free world, they tried to off a leader of the free world. And it was barely a blip on the news because we live in apparently hell.
Yeah.
So great job, Russia.
Arguably-
You're really doing...
Arguably the leader of the free world, since this one here is
Because
ain't doing
clearly our dumpster fire ain't leading shit.
Yeah. The leaders of France and Germany are basically saying, we can't leave Zelensky in a room alone with the Americans, and you just can't trust the Americans.
No.
And this isn't just Trump. They're talking about like just people that work for the State Department, represent the United States. Other leaders of the world, and these are not the most progressive lefty-leaning people, like especially the German one, are saying, you can't trust him. One of us always needs to be there. There needs to be a European leader there.
Trust our government with Zelensky. I wouldn't be in a room alone with Donald Trump just because he creeps me out. But I especially wouldn't be in a room alone with Zelensky. As an American, I don't want Zelensky in a room alone with any Americans, especially if they're like operatives or CIA or whatever. I watched a thing the other day. Because we all know that the CIA, the FBI, they can spy on us. They can do whatever they want. And there was this dude who was like, abso-fucking-lutely. They're spying on your phones. They tap into your microphones on your TV. They tap into the microphones on your computer. They're absolutely fucking spying on you. And I try and live my life in a way where I'm like, fuck Donald Trump. And I will say it with my whole chest into a video that I put on the fucking internet because I am not afraid of any of them. Go fuck yourself, Donald Trump. You're a Nazi, right? Like, you don't have to come looking for me because I live my life in the open. But for anybody who thinks that our government at any point in our history has operated above board, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, you got another thing coming. Go talk to South America about how they feel about that, right? But then you add in the Trump factor. You add in the Russia factor. You add in the daddy Putin factor of all this. And abso-fucking-lutely, if American citizens who were born here can't trust our government, what makes anybody think they can trust Donald Trump or any of our government officials in a room alone, like you said, with arguably the leader of the free world, which is Zelensky?
Yep.
So what I was going to tell you, and I should save this for the end, but it's too funny. So speaking of living our lives in the open, telling Donald Trump to go fuck himself on a regular basis and not being ashamed of any of that and thinking all of these assholes are Nazis. I'm going out of the country in a few weeks, and I told our vet, hey, I'm going out of the country in a few weeks. You know, Wednesday, I need you to do this, that, and the other, make sure she's good. Dr. B stops me and goes, are you going to be able to get back in? And I was like, I don't know.
Maybe not.
Fuck
Wouldn't
no.
be a bad thing.
I sure as fuck ain't deleting shit off this phone. And if you want to hold it up to my face, I will tell you to your face, fuck Donald Trump, fuck J.D. Vance, the couch fucker. Like, I have no shame in that game. Come at me, bros, because I will happily leave. You ain't gotta ask me twice. Send me my dog. Make sure my tortoises are taken care of. I'm good. Anyways, my own vet. Are you gonna be able to get back in the country? I don't know.
TBD.
Whatever.
Who knows?
Choose your own adventure. So, speaking of Daddy Putin, we'll go to the next article.
So, for those that haven't seen, there's another thing drafted by Russia, let's be real, that was released called the New National Security Strategy of the United States. And there's PDFs everywhere. You can find it, you can read it. But the specific story that we want to discuss is that, surprise, surprise, Moscow praises the new security strategy, which warns, not only is it very like, fuck freedom and we love Russia, but it is very much anti-immigration, just generally. It warns mass migration, and this is why they're saying they don't support Europe, because mass migration will leave Europe unrecognizable within 20 years, and says that Russia is not a threat.
Shit that Donald Trump was saying that Europe's about to get less white?
Yeah. And that's why in this national security policy, so the national security strategy, for people that don't want to read it, basically says we can't align ourselves with Europe anymore because it's too brown, which, by the way, Europe has always been a mix of colors. It's not one homogeneous culture or race
Literally,
either.
Sicily was called the bastards for a reason.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, like
mixing. We're just
literally
mixed.
everybody hates everyone. There's different shades of
We're
white.
all related to each other because we've all been humping each other
Yeah, and colonizing each other. It's like colonception.
closely. Yeah.
And they have used this racist narrative to say this is why we can't support Europe anymore. That's why Ukraine shouldn't be a thing, and why Russia is really like our big step. Russia, which by the way is shutting down the internet for its people to close itself off, and is racist AF.
I mean, listen, the US ain't far behind. Like, we're a few decades behind doing the same shit Russia did. If anybody out there thinks we're not gonna do those things, if we don't continue this spiral down to fascism, like, you're out of your fucking minds.
And that's what the next discussion is going to be about. Like the whole Warner Brothers thing is a part of that.
Well, hang on, hold on, because I want to say one other thing about the stuff, because it's one of the top stories that was just posted a few minutes ago. So now, and I'm glad Zelensky's saying this, because Trump had come out and said that he wanted Zelensky to secede, or not to secede, to give up or concede. Jesus Christ, I haven't had enough coffee today, apparently. Concede territory to Russia. And Zelensky's like, yeah, hell no, we ain't doing that. We ain't giving up our land. And I want Zelensky to hold strong on that, because nowhere else would they expect a sovereign nation to give up land. And Zelensky needs to hold strong, because fuck Putin and fuck Donald Trump. Ukraine doesn't owe anything to anyone. Period.
No. You know who needs to give up land? Russia. Still to this day.
Russia, because they keep stealing it.
Yeah, like Siberia alone is like literally a whole other country that people need to study. Like Russia is probably one of the worst empires of all time, because they just ate up all their neighbors and never gave them back their countries. And that's why Ukraine is fighting really strong, because guess what? They're doing it again.
And they've done it to Ukraine before.
Yeah. Back and forth. And they're gonna, and people wonder why this is an important issue, because they will go as far as they want. They will take away Alaska because they believe it is still theirs. They will probably also want to own a bunch of stuff in the US. Like this is actually why NATO was created after World War II, because they knew that
the US presidency's not enough. They want to own more here.
Yeah. Like it's horrific. Yeah.
Crazy.
That's where we're at.
Okay, what else? What else you got for the world? Where else is Donald Trump embarrassing us other than FIFA, various other places this week?
3 more items, and one goes straight to this. And this is a really good breakdown of why people should be worried about the Warner Brothers deal, especially the new one. I mean, nobody wants all of these monopolies, but if it's between Netflix and Paramount, please, Netflix, take it. Because Netflix, at least, was concerned about Sesame Street and education and said they're going to save Sesame Street when the government defunded it. But Warner Brothers, or Paramount, sorry, which did a hostile bid today.
I read about this. It's crazy.
The Ellison family and the Kushner family, especially Jared Kushner, have stakes in Paramount, and big ones. So MS Now, I was going to say MSNBC, that's not their name anymore. MS Now did a whole breakdown about how this is out of the Putin's little puppet, Viktor Orban's playbook. Essentially not just owning...
and explain who Viktor Orban is.
Viktor Orban is the head of state of Hungary, and the people hate him. They have been protesting for years, but he is a dictator. He controls the military, basically, and he owns almost all types of information companies and the way people get news in just like Russia, just like Putin. Same style of leadership. And essentially with this deal, we are in danger of them owning one of the largest forms of entertainment. And if people are like, maybe not a big deal, it is a big deal, because it is like what Annette said. We're going to go down the Russian way where everything is policed. So if it's If it's between Netflix, Paramount, I'm rooting for Netflix.
Isn't that crazy that that's what we're rooting for at this point?
Yeah. A monopolization of it. I'm like, yes, please.
Insanity.
Yeah. But that's as far as like the US sort of situation,
Sort of.
because the other 2 points also have to deal with Trump.
I mean,
Trump,
it
for
all
people,
does. It always does.
it all goes back to this asshole. For people that weren't aware, Trump has been meddling in elections all over Latin America publicly by threatening those countries.
Listen, that's not a Trump problem. That's a U.S. historical problem.
Oh, yeah, that's a very much a U.S. problem. The only issue is that it's never been this disgustingly public, at least before they had the decency of
Trump tried to
keeping
hide
it
it.
secret. Yeah, now it's just on Twitter. And what's terrible now is that they're actually threatening things like TPS, which is what happened with the situation in Honduras. Trump basically tweeted to the people of Honduras, if you don't vote for my guy, I'm going to really take away TPS for all the Hondurans in the United States. And they faced many deportations. And so people really did get worried. But what is happening now, and it's super interesting, and this is kind of a good thing, in this landscape, you kind of look at these things like good things. They are still waiting for the final presidential count in Honduras. We still don't know who the president is. Why is that a good thing? Because many of the other candidates, the one that Trump wanted was Asfura. All the other candidates are basically saying, we don't believe these results. There's something wrong. And they believe that there's a lot of manipulation within the count. And so TBD, 1 week after the vote, we are still waiting to see who will be the winner, who is the winner. And even then, we'll see what the U.S. has to say about it. We'll see what Trump is going to try to do about it. But the situation in Latin America is only getting hotter.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump is threatening Mexico with even higher tariffs now.
Okay. Then your people are really going to hate you, because most of the stuff that the U.S. gets is made in Mexico. Cars, clothing.
You think Americans will ever just realize the bro duped you? I mean, normal Americans realize that, but his Americans, you think they'll ever be like, bro, he got me. He lied.
Yeah.
He got me.
Are they going to have the Marjorie Taylor Greene syndrome, like her in the interview where she was like she's betrayed?
What do you really think happened there? Because I sit back and wonder, because I'm torn with the whole thing, right? Because part of me is like, oh, too little, too late, bitch. And then part of me is also like, yeah, welcome. I'm glad that your blinders are finally off and you can see that he bamboozled your ass too.
Yeah. It shows me she's not to agree with Trump, but it shows me she's not very bright, or just, but it's one of those things where you really thought that a man who's known as a con lied to you.
And a predator.
Yeah. Lied to you, and that he said, because apparently he said awful things when she told JD Vance about the threats against her family. And she was like, he said awful things I can't say on television.
Terrible things?
He's been awful in public. Yeah, little too late,
He's literally
woman.
a horrible, racist, sexist, homophobic, terrible human being. What did you expect? Why do any of these people think they're any different? It's no different than him calling a fucking female reporter piggy. You think he's not going to say that about you, Marge?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Do better. Yeah. I really think it's just like the Latinos. I saw an interview with a Somalian guy the other day. Somalians for Trump. And he was like, President, we voted for you overwhelmingly and we had your back and now you're coming for our community. I looked at Nick and I was like, how do these people think they're the exception?
Nope. Just like all the Cubans begging for
all of you. You have brown skin. He's gonna be a horrible, racist, vile piece of shit to you. Whether you're Trump's for whatever or not. Do you have a vagina? Yes. He hates you.
The peace president has another.
The peace president. As he puts on his own thing that nobody knows how he got, the FIFA trophy.
So, you know how he solved the whole Cambodia situation? Yeah. Apparently not. Because now Thailand has launched airstrikes along the border with Cambodia, and the tensions are reigniting. So that peace lasted quite a long time, if there ever was any.
Fucking idiot. Kind of like, the peace in Israel and Palestine.
Done. Or, the Russia-Ukraine deal. We're done. We're good. Everything's good. Peace president.
So You know how he reported he keeps that list of all the wars he ended in his suit pocket? I wonder if he, like,
With
has to,
Albania?
like, mark it off and start over.
Like, darn, started again. Oh, they shot another
Damn it!
missile.
Failed again!
It's like a Walgreens receipt now with all the times he's had to do it, probably.
Yeah, it's just like a rolling receipt every time he fails and fucks it up. What a fucking
God.
loser.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, because look at that. Bombs are flying everywhere.
Yeah. Did you see all the refugees who've come off the border of Cambodia and Thailand because they're like, yeah, we know what's about to happen now.
Mhm.
Peace president. Donald Trump's got it, everyone. Don't worry about a thing. Do you think
Mhm.
he thinks at night? Do you really think at night he goes to bed and being like, I'm the shit. I am the shit.
Yeah,
Or do
I
you think
think
he thinks
he
like the
thinks
rest
he's
of
the
us, like,
shit.
whew, I could have done better with that deal?
No. 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 He really thinks he's the shit. He really thinks he's the shit. Mhm. Because he's a predator, so he thinks he's great.
And he's a narcissist, so.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, to be that delusional.
Yeah, seriously. Wish.
You think he takes drugs to be that delusional? Or you think
Oh,
it's just like his
probably.
brain broke?
I think his brain is broke, and then the drugs make it worse and put him to sleep, probably.
Well, I mean, he's old as the hills.
Mhm,
I
there's
saw a
that.
thing the other day. This fascinated me. Bill Clinton today is still younger than both of the current sitting president and the previous sitting president. Bill Clinton is still younger than them today.
Yeah, he got into office super young. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But it's just amazing to me. It's like, holy shit. Like, that puts it in perspective age wise. Like, I
Mm.
know I got a nap halfway through the day usually.
Yeah,
Donald
yeah,
Trump is old as the fucking hills.
and stupid on top of it. Yeah, so that's what he's accomplished this week on the world stage.
Speaking of, okay, so we're still bombing people we don't know whether or not they're terrorists or not. Do you think
Mhm.
Hegseth makes it another week, another month? Because at some point, I mean, people are starting to call for his resignation because they're still just blowing random people up in the Caribbean. What do you think happens there with Venezuela? And what do you think happens in Venezuela? Because I
Ugh.
have read reports that the people of Venezuela are preparing as if the US is going to do something stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're I'll start with the latter because they totally are. I know a couple that I work with that are absolutely frightened, and people are absolutely getting ready for that to happen. Um, and because you can never trust the US. And they're also getting ready for, if it's not a giant attack, continued, like, because what the US has usually done in Latin America is quietly, but quietly as far as it doesn't make the papers or the news, people don't find out about it, but the people in the country do. Sabotaging the country, right? Like getting certain people to create, like what happened in Chile so that Pinochet can get in, what they did in Panama, what happened in Brazil, all those things. So people are preparing for the US to once again, because arguably maybe for the last decade, the US closed down the School of the Americas. We said we learned from our mistakes. Now we apparently did not, and we're back full force and are just going to do what we did. And so, yeah, they're totally preparing in Venezuela. I think also, yeah, you will see Hegseth at some point have to leave because there's probably people that have law degrees and will say to Trump, if you really want to get like sued up to high heaven by an entire nation, and probably soldiers themselves because they want to transfer personal liability, because apparently, like, if you are a soldier and you do something wrong and you followed illegal orders, it is on you. So they might try to get out of it in some way. Yeah, he's gonna eventually, he does that to everyone. He did it to you, Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's gonna say bye, Hegseth. Don't like you. I mean, he's thinking about firing Kristi Noem.
I saw. Old melty face.
So yeah, and who knows? They may try to use the holidays and try to sneak it in when people aren't paying attention. So we'll see. What do you think?
I think he's gonna pull him. I do think that because I think what's old cross-eyes name?
Cash
FBI
Patel.
Patel. I think they do it with him too. I mean, they're just
Mm.
wildly unqualified even for Donald Trump. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think all three of them are gonna get the hook sooner rather than later. I mean, not that Donald Trump cares about following the law. This is more about public perception for him.
Yep.
And this is more about them being questioned and how it tarnishes Trump's appearance, which I don't know how you tarnish it even more. I'm going to bring this up in a second. This article that literally came up in my feed as we're talking about this. Like, I don't know how you tarnish something that's already tarnished, but I think he views them as liabilities now. And I think they're going to start moving them out. And still doing the same shit. What I was reading as you were talking was immigrants approved for citizenship were plucked out of line moments before pledging allegiance by USCIS on December 4th. This just happened. It's in People magazine. Immigrants were moments away from pledging allegiance to United States in Boston, the final step of a long process to becoming a U.S. citizen, when the government officials pulled them out of the line, according to a new report. The scene unfolded in Boston on Thursday, December 4th, according to the report, as people who were already approved to be naturalized, having completed the lengthy U.S. citizenship process, lined up to pledge allegiance. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services officials told them they could not continue to their countries of they could not continue due to their countries of origin. And most of these folks were on the list, largely who were African and Asian countries designated as high risk. I want to know where they should just do it legally crowd is. Looking for those motherfuckers right now. Because these people were literally in line to pledge allegiance to this fucking country, went through the whole legal process, went through all the hurdles that USCIS makes them fucking jump through. Way more than any U.S. citizen has ever done. And they were literally yanked from line during their ceremony. It's fucking sick. Disgusting. So Haiti is on the list of 19 countries with full or partial restrictions, which also includes Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, Cuba, Venezuela, Turkmenistan. There's a whole bunch of them. Quote is, she showed up as scheduled, and when she arrived, officers were asking everyone what country they were from. And if they said a certain country, they were told to step out of line and that their oath ceremonies were canceled. People were devastated and they're frightened. Again, where are the fucking just do it the right way people? Because these people literally did it the right way. And that's what I'm talking about with like Kristi Noem and with Hegseth and with old cross-eye weirdo Patel. It doesn't matter who he has in these positions. And I think that's what people fundamentally don't understand, right? You could have a dog in that position. They're going to uphold the garbage that Donald Trump asks them to uphold, right? It doesn't matter at this point. Disgusting.
It's awful.
I'm going to put this link in the chat because it's fascinating. You'll have to see if you can open it. If not, I'll go back to it, Maria. So I think in terms of like what's happening around the world, once again, we look like a bag of idiots because we've already naturalized these people. They've gone through the process and now we don't want to make them U.S. citizens when these people are begging to be U.S. citizens.
Yep. And that process is not easy.
No, you went through it.
It is.
And now you got a Supreme Court that's ready to be like, no more birthright citizenship.
So are all the Trump kids gonna?
Is Melania getting deported? When's she getting deported? Because that bitch is naturalized.
Yep. Con jobs.
Con jobs. They're all con jobs. Donald Trump is a con job. Just for the FBI, CIA, whoever's following Maria and I for when we come in and out of the country, con jobs. I stand by every word. Come at me, bros. I read a thing the other day, speaking of immigration, that they're testing all of these laws. Like, they're testing overthrowing all of these laws because they're making this list of American citizens who are troublemakers so that they eventually can, like, come and use it against us. I'm like, come at me, bro. I'm ready. Let's dance. I was born for this fight.
Send me to the camps.
I got all my shots now. I am fully vaccinated, RFK, and ready for your dumb camps. I'm fat. I got a lot of chunk on me, so I'll live for fucking ever. I was built for this. My ancestors fled the Nazis once. This time I'm going in. Or I'll just go back to Sicily because that sounds better at this point, even though their fucking president's a Nazi too.
At least you'll be in Europe and you can easily move to any other country if you need to.
100%. Takes and headaches. What's on your mind, Maria? I got mine. What's on your mind?
Oh, man.
Take your headache, sister.
A headache. And that is the news. All of them. Constantly just talking about the same thing over and over. And specifically, what we were talking about with the whole Hegseth and Venezuela situation. And just constantly saying, well, even if they were, let's talk about what he's really doing. He wants the oil, and so he needs to remove the current leadership of Venezuela because he wants the oil.
This is Marco Rubio's wet dream. He's been dying to go into Venezuela. This is like a tale as old as time. This has nothing to do with these fucking drug mules or fishermen or whatever the fuck they are. No. We are intentionally breaking international law, friends. Come on.
Yep.
Let them spin this.
So
don't let them bamboozle you.
All the MS Nows, all the CNNs, everyone that just constantly is bringing on this expert to talk about this and whatever. And yeah, sure, it was illegal. And then why are we doing? We know why we're doing it. Can we stop talking in circles? Just call it
Literally.
as it is.
Just say what it is. Like, tell the truth of what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
All right.
What's yours?
You want to know my hot take? I've been waiting for this one since last weekend. My hot take is I believe Wicked 2 is better than Wicked 1. Wicked Part 2 is better than Wicked Part 1. And I'll take it a step further, even more controversial. I think No Place Like Home, which is a new song, very, very political song that Cynthia Erivo smashes out of the park. It is a new song written for the movie. I think it is one of the best Wicked songs ever created.
Nice.
And if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it with your political ears on and come back and talk to me because it's a fucking stellar song, especially for what we're talking about on this episode.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Also, Jonathan Bailey's just the most beautiful human on earth because I have eyes. It's my hot take for the week. Many disagree with me already. I'm ready for the hate. Bring it on. That means you watched the whole episode. If you disagree with me about Wicked, put it in the chat. I'd love to debate with you over this on all the merits. If you've watched this long, tell us why you think I'm wrong, please.
On any topic, feel free. Drop it in the chat.
Absolutely. I'd welcome it.
That's our hot takes and headaches. Annette, want to take us out? Maybe literally.
Hey, listen, I turned 41 this week. You turn 41 next week. I'd be fine. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. This 41-year-old body has seen a lot of shit. As an elder millennial, you and I have seen a lot of shit. And I'm tired. I think my skin still looks good, though, for 41.
Yeah.
I read an article about elder millennials having baby faces, even though we've seen a lot of shit. And I'm like, I have good skin. I barely wear any makeup. I think I'm doing all right. I'm a little fat, but that's fine. I can fix that. At least I'm not conservative. They say you get more conservative with age. I've gotten more liberal.
That's not true. That does not happen. No.
Yeah, could you imagine, like, being 41 and being like, oh, I'm suddenly a conservative? Like, in what world would you have had to live in to be like,
ugh, not at all.
You must be miserable.
Yeah.
So anyways, over the next week, we will celebrate our 41 years on this decrepit earth, this decaying earth.
The floor of the universe.
And, and then we're going to go into the holidays and take a little breaky break.
Yeah.
And everyone, well, with that, birthday episode 1, birthday episode 2 will be next week for Maria's birthday. And thank you for joining us. If you have comments, questions, concerns, put them in the chat. We want to hear from you. You've seen us. We've been reading them. I'd love to hear all sides, even the ones that don't make much sense. So please, especially the ones that don't make much sense, put them in the chat. We want to hear from you. We encourage it, in fact.
Yeah. And we especially want to hear.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we especially want to hear your concerns and complaints. We're like OSHA. We take them all.
Don't trigger me. Don't trigger me.
We'll even read them on air. Yeah, we will.
That's my triggered face if anybody doesn't. Oh, God.
We're like OSHA. We take all types of reports. So,
you know what? Honestly, I've reached 41 years of age. I actually don't anymore.
You're like, no, I have a limit.
I don't anymore. Don't fucking care. Anyways. You can catch us next week right here, same time, same place. And make sure you rate, review, slide into our DMs, ask questions, share this episode with your friends and family, share it widely so we can get more views because we're always bringing the hot takes and the headaches from around the world and around the country. So we will see you next week, friends, for our next birthday episode. Thanks, everyone. Have a safe week.
Bye.